It is day 3 on our trip to see the Elva, Manitoba grain elevator, a goal which we accomplished yesterday. But don't worry, there's still a lot more to check out as we work our way back home. Come along! We left Brandon, Manitoba this morning, and we are working our way towards the grain elevators in McConnell, Manitoba. But we saw this great abandoned house just off into this field and decided we better stop and take a picture of it and enjoy the really nice, quiet morning out here. We have reached McConnell, Manitoba, and check out these two beautiful grain elevators. The morning light on this one is really nice right now. Now this one over here is behind a fence, so we won't be able to get too close to it. But check that out. It's got Pool B on it. Service at cost. I can make out the town name of McConnell. You can see the driveway on this one has been completely torn off or collapsed. It would have been on the right side of the elevator there by the engine house. And then the rail bed, you can sort of make it out, was just to the left of the elevator here and came through right along there. So when we first got here, I was kind of thinking that maybe these had been moved to this location because I really couldn't see the rail bed very well. But that one over there definitely indicates it's a rail bed. And I think now that I know it ran through on this side, you can kind of get a sense of where the rail bed came through just to the right side of the elevator here. So this is going to be a really quick stop. I mean, I don't know, this is or was a town site at one point, but it feels like we're in somebody's farmyard, and a lot of this grass is maintained and things. So, for all I know, we are currently on private property. So we're just going to quickly, grab a couple photos and then get out of here before we disturb anybody. But had to check out these two gorgeous grain elevators here in McConnell. Just outside the gates of the Isabella cemetery, but this is not really the main focus of our stop. We just stopped here because there's a geocache to be found. The main stop is the grain elevators that are just a little ways down the road here that we spotted on the horizon. So let's go see what we can spot at the Isabella grain elevators. So the elevators sort of look like they're on a farmer's property or very close to a farmer's property. So we're just going to admire these ones from the road and not drive in there too far. It says it's a town on the map, but it looks like it's very private. And, McConnell was the same way, so we're okay with that. We're just going to enjoy them from the road. We don't need to get right up close and personal. So there is a sign that says Isabella Museum. So there's obviously some sort of settlement or something here. Like I said, the elevators are very much on that farmer's land there by the looks of it, but we just wanted to take a quick cruise through the town of Isabella and see, maybe their museum's hosted in a cool old building or something. Not that it would be open today. Okay, get your phone. Wait, stop. Cool. And it seems like every small prairie town has a ball diamond. This one's actually nicely mowed and maintained. looks like a former commercial structure up here. This looks like also a community hall. So this was likely Main Street back in the day. Oh, old gas pump in front of the old store. That's worth a photo stop.
Ye old store.
Ye old store. So even though we didn't get up close, we got a great view of the elevators from this angle. And this was Main Street, as evidenced by that sign right there. Main Street and Railway, the heartbeat of pretty much every prairie town. Isabella Cooperative Elevator Association, pool number 168 by the looks of it. And as we've seen on a number of these elevators, service at cost. Kind of see the church there through the trees. Isabella United. And we came through Decker and we're working our way towards, I'm going to say, Beulah. I'm not sure how the locals pronounce it, but Isabella, cool little stop. So this Manitoba secondary highway gravel road we were following, I believe it was number 355, ended up being a real gold mine for us, because the next town here in Beulah also has a grain elevator. And I mean, like, we love that stuff. So I'm just going to take a quick walk in here a little ways to get you a little bit closer to it and let you have a good look at it. This one is actually quite nicely intact. The driveway has nice metal doors on it that have sealed it off. I mean, the glass is missing from the windows, both up in the cupola and in the office. But, you know, in terms of some of them we've seen here, this one is really in good, solid shape. And I'm not sure if you can see this concrete pad here in front, but obviously this elevator had a big annex on this east side at one point that has since been torn down. That also probably helped protect the this side of the elevator a bit from the elements, so that left it in good shape. So the annex is gone, but the elevator itself remains and, like I said, is remarkably intact. Great little stop here. So we were just coming down the highway, saw a sign that said historic site with an arrow pointing to the left. We had no idea what it was going to be, but hey, it says historic site. That means we have to go check it out. And you can tell our presence here has certainly drawn the attention of the locals. But what is the historic site? Well, there's a cairn over here. And the cairn says that this was the site of the first Miniota school, number 389, from 1885 to 1912. So obviously, no evidence of the school remains other than this cairn. Maybe you can see there's a little, the grass is a little bit different kind of in the middle, and sometimes the vegetation grows different where there used to be a building or a foundation or a trail. So that might be an indication just right in there, or it could just be a random patch of weeds. But nonetheless, historic site. And it's really weird, and I don't know if it's a symptom of just the area we're in or in Manitoba in general, but we've come across a number of these cairns and historic sites or abandoned schools where in Alberta there would definitely be a geocache hidden there. And like, this is a spot that just cries out for a geocache, yet the map shows nothing here. And that's just strange to me. I figured everywhere we would stop to try and find a cache or to, I should say, everywhere we would stop to try and look at an interesting historic site, we would just happen to stumble across geocaches, but that has not been the case. A little bit of a change from the grain elevator focus we've had so far on this trip. This is the St. Hubert Mission, and we are back in Saskatchewan. Let's check it out. Now, I don't actually know anything of its history. Looks like the steps were poured in 1960. Let's try the door. Looks ajar. A lot of flies up there. Let's see. Thomas Hawkins. Keep out. Damaged ceiling. Oh, indeed. If you look up there, you can see the ceiling has suffered some water damage. There's a couple tiles just barely hanging on. Wow. Guest book, October the 3rd. Make sure the outside door is closed. Don't touch anything in the church. Be respectful. You are on camera. Yes, I am. There are steps here leading up to what I assume is the choir loft. They feel pretty stable, so let's just take a quick look. Yes, indeed, the choir loft. Old Hammond organ. And a look down from above. Even though we're not really religious, we always are fascinated by old and historic churches and things of that nature. They're just very iconic buildings, and we never pass up a chance to explore them either. Low ceiling here. Emily has been waiting outside with Mabel. So, I'm going to duck down there. I'm going to swap out and she can come in and check it out now. Okay, I'll take the dog. Your turn. I don't even really know how to describe where we are. We turned off the Trans-Canada Highway onto some sort of gravel road, followed it across, turned around somewhere else. I mean, we've just been kind of poking our way across. We're working our way to Saskatoon tonight. This is one of those places I had seen posted online and thought it looked really interesting. And it's a dot that I have saved on my Google map for I don't know how long, and it was sort of on the way, so decided this would be a good trip to follow the line and see where it ended up and see what was here. And it's an impressive structure. I'm really surprised there is water damage to that ceiling. Maybe it predates the tin roof, because that roof is a tin roof doesn't usually leak. So that's quite interesting that it suffered water damage inside, and that was a gopher hole. And given that there is a rope here, it seems appropriate on a Sunday afternoon to ring the bell. After all, like I always said, if they don't want you to ring a bell, they really shouldn't leave the rope there for you. Oh my God, that's heavy. I think it might be locked. Yeah, I think it's locked in place. That's not moving anywhere. All these flies, time to go. We'll make sure it's good and secure and keep the critters out as best as possible. Okay, time to get back on the road again. We still got a lot of miles to make, and we need to be in Saskatoon about 6 o'clock tonight. So, the race is on. Sometimes you luck out. And I had no idea on this trip that we were going to be near Neelby, Saskatchewan, which is home to 2 classic grain elevators. We were just driving down the highway just out of Kipling, Saskatchewan, and saw these on the horizon and had to make the detour. So these are elevators I have seen online multiple times and have always wanted to visit, but I was never in the area, and like I said, I didn't even know today we would be passing by these. I didn't actually bother to mark them on my map. But these 2 are famous for a couple of reasons. The one here in the front has a very significant lean to it, and it has been leaning pretty much as long as I have ever been aware of it. So it's like the Leaning Tower of Pisa in a way. Like, is it going to topple over, or is it going to continue just to lean and be famous for leaning? But it is, yeah, it's hard to see, I think, on the video, but it has a significant lean here, kind of to the south and the east. The driveway is long gone. A couple neat vehicles in front of it too. Now, what I have noticed about this second elevator, the one that is the westernmost elevator here in town, or what was town, is it has a plan very similar to Elva. It's significantly shorter than its partner here in Neelby. Significantly shorter, which makes it likely predate the other one. So it wouldn't surprise me if this is another one that dates into the late 1890s, early 1900s. Just because of its shorter, squatter design, it is definitely not the same as its partner to the east. And I think from this angle here, looking to the northeast, you can really see the lean on the Neelby elevator. And boy, you know, when they topple over under controlled circumstances, it's quite the sight. I can only imagine what this one's going to be when it finally lets go and ends up on the ground. Another look here at the easternmost elevator. You can look right through the bottom of it and see where the leg is and whatnot. The engine house has, the roof of it has completely caved in. It's a good thing it's leaning to the southeast here. If it was going any direction to the north, it would actually potentially take out those power lines. If that were the case, I suspect they would have demoed it long ago. So I don't have any history on these, other than, like I said, I have seen them online multiple times, and I'm just really, really excited we finally got the chance to see them in person, especially because this is a bonus. This was not something I had planned for this road trip. Okay, we really need to get on the road because this added a fair amount of time to our arrival time in Saskatoon, and we have a Thanksgiving dinner waiting for us there, so time to turn tail and let's go. Okay, this is going to be our last real stop on this day of the trip. we need to get to Saskatoon, and we're just about out of time to do any stops. But I had to show you this building here in Candiac, Saskatchewan. So this is your classic false-fronted Western building from the early 1900s, late 1800s, that style. Beautiful building. You can see it used to have a balcony up on that second floor. The glass is still intact on that door in the second window, the diamond window there. But as you get around the corner, and if you've been peeking inside at all, you can see this building is on the verge of total collapse. So it's kind of been a theme of disappearing and decaying buildings that we've seen on this trip. We've seen the elevators at Dankin. We've seen the last days of the elevator at Elva. We have seen the Neelby, I was pronouncing it wrong earlier, the Neelby elevator. And now this amazing building in Candiac was probably a hardware store or general store at one point. Beautiful two-story building with a little addition there on the side, but it is in bad shape and will not be around much longer. So if you ever find yourself near Candiac, Saskatchewan, I highly recommend you take a quick moment and check this building out if it's still here. If I quickly walk up, you don't even want to get too close to it because it's like, it feels like it just could fall over. But if I take a quick shot inside, you can see all the shelving is still intact. And shelving, a lot of junk, some old treadmills and things, so not much of value inside other than the great shelves and things that once housed tons of hard goods for people, soon to be lost to the ages here in Candiac, Saskatchewan. Okay, we have seriously got to get on the road. We got to get to Regina, get some gas, and then hot-foot it to Saskatoon. So that, I am going to assume, is going to do it for day 3 of this trip. There still is another day to come. I don't know how much video there's going to be because we're just going to be in a hurry to get home because we have to be at work the day after tomorrow. This has been a fantastic trip. We will see you for day 4. But in the meantime, from Candiac, Saskatchewan, that's the end of day 3. Thank you very much for watching.